he had recognized that God's grace had given him more than his deeds deserved. God's grace had given him more than his deeds deserved. How many of us are willing to be honest and say, God's grace has given us more than our deeds deserve? Now let me help you out a little bit, because I know this can be a difficult thing depending on who you're sitting next to. The truth of the matter is, they know you tell the truth. God has given you more. His grace has given you more than your deeds deserve. We receive more grace than we deserve. Y'all need some examples. Some of us have been overextending credit for years. But God's grace has our bills paid better than our deeds deserve. Some of us have gone too far with too many people, but God's grace has given us a cleaner bill of health than our deeds deserve. PG-13 for y'all. Some of us have fried, smothered, and batter dipped every meal we've eaten in the past 10 years. And God's grace has kept us healthier than our deeds deserve. And when you recognize this truth, you don't have to have somebody convince you to be humble. Baby, you're humble yourself, because you realize that everything you had was better than you deserved. So Peter falls at the feet of Jesus and says, get away from me, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. And what God is calling you to do is it's going to take more than the power that you can provide. More than you can provide. So they were in the right atmosphere. They were available. Third thing I want you to see is they received their assignment. They received their assignment. Verses 8 to 11 says, when Simon saw this, he fell at Jesus' feet and said, go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man. For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken. And so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's partners. Then Jesus said to Simon, don't be afraid. From now on you'll catch men. So they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything and followed. So they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything and followed. So they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything and followed him. So they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything and followed him. So they pulled their boats up on shore. They left everything, including their boats, and followed him. Very quickly, I want to see two things, and I'll be out of your way. The first thing Jesus told them was not to be afraid. He says, don't be afraid. What would you do in your life if you were not afraid? We're talking about calling out what God has called you to do. What would you do if fear were not a factor? What would you do if you were not afraid? This is an important question, because chances are the answer to this question is a precursor to your life's calling. What would you do if you were not afraid that you failed? What would you do if there was no lid that could stop you? What would you do? What would you do if you weren't afraid of what other people would say? What would you do if you weren't afraid that we can't afford a home? What would you do if you were not afraid? Jesus says, don't be afraid. There's no word of it before Jesus even reveals the calling. He casts out that fear, because if you're going to move into what God has prepared for you to do and step into what he's designed you to do, fear can't be a part of your thought process. Fear cannot be a factor. Look at somebody and say, don't be scared, man. Don't be scared. I know it looks like there's some scary things, but don't be scared. You can't be afraid. Jesus said, don't be afraid, because he knew that their shortcomings, even before he gave them the call. So the call in your life has more to do with God's saying?